just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
It is a heavy toy department day, you could say. Again, ultimately, is it stating the obvious? Yes. Is the timing surprising? I think on the basis of the day-to-day reporting, yes. Maybe behind the scenes at the new Winter Park, it's not surprising at all. Because maybe the things they used to evaluate made clear that we kind of knew all along that the guy who was going to start at the beginning of the season was the new guy they brought in, not the incumbent who allegedly was still competing for the job.
And that would be Kyler Murray, the former, as you mentioned, the new guy coming in. KOC announcing today in a press conference that you could hear eventually here on the Fan, after some technical difficulties from the new Winter Park, that the new guy would, in fact, be the starter. Here is KOC on a little bit what went into that decision.
In the short time, just speaking about Kyler, I think he's demonstrated what he's capable of. Both the experience he has playing at a high level in this league, but also his experience now of coming in here, being challenged. And I think he's shown enough to really project with the right prerequisite now of work for a starter leading into a camp that we can get the rhythm, the timing, we can get the mastery of our system and this year's system, regardless of what we've done in previous years, what we're going to look like, how we're going to play. There's different things and nuances that, we're going to fit to what our players, Kyler included, do the best. And, in my opinion, he's got the skill set and the abilities, not only just from a standpoint of accuracy, but his ability to affect the game with his athleticism. But he's also proven to be smart, very hardworking and able to take in a lot of information and churn that out. Now we really want to give him the opportunity to really start building a comfort level, not only with the system, but with the guys.
I'm tasting mainly Thousand Island.
Okay. With
maybe a little bit of ranch there. You mentioned a possibility of some balsamic vinaigrette.
Yeah.
Maybe strawberry. I don't know. It was a combo platter. He's done enough. A lot of people kind of jumped on that because it wasn't exactly a wild declaration of all the wonderful things he's done. Then again, you could say we want him to be less salady and more honest. That's probably a more honest answer. He's done enough, which is very different than saying that Kyler Murray has come in here and grabbed the job by the short hairs and is not giving anybody even a chance to compete for it. So I'm going to go – I've advanced several theories on why now. I'm going to go with my third one, which is he also knows, even by his answer there, that it hasn't been as smooth as you'd like to think it would be for a quarterback entering his 8th season, even if it's first one here, and that he says, let's stop with the pretense. We know where we're going. I want a month of giving him the number of reps I think give us the best chance to get the best of what he might have to offer. I think a lot of it might well have ended up being that the closeness of it alarmed him a little bit, even though he knew JJ's not going to start. So let's just start running the clock today, where we still have more than a month before the regular season begins.
Yeah, that's September 13th against the Green Bay Packers. Is it poppy seed or is it Caesar or honey mustard maybe? I don't know. It's kind of an off-brand one.
Could be. Honey mustard, yeah.
To the Kevin Seifert question, does J.J. McCarthy still have a future here?
To me, he's still a guy that's only played 10 games. He's shown improvement off of last year. Even in this training camp with the work he's put in and his comfort level just growing a little bit day in and day out. I'm still very excited to continue to, get to work with him every single day, coach him, and I truly, as he knows, he's holding the pen on his story, and we're going to support him and try to just help him continue to improve as a young player at the most difficult position in sports. And he's got to also understand this isn't just a long-term mindset, which we want to have always for a player his caliber and a young player like him, but it could be an immediate response needed. And, JJ's the kind of guy that'll be ready to rock and roll. I know that.
Well, does anybody still make or use Roquefort dressing?
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
I don't even know what Roquefort is made of. I know that back in the day, my parents liked Roquefort dressing.
Okay.
Was it creamy? I doubt. The vinaigrettes weren't big back then. What is Roquefort dressing? I thought I sensed a little Roquefort in there. Maybe a little Russian. Have you ever had Russian dressing?
No, I don't think so. Maybe it's somebody's wedding or something.
Yeah. Wishbone used to make a Russian. I don't know if they still do. I'm not exactly sure. There's more salad dressings, I think, than ever. And then there's dipping sauce dressings that people kind of use interchangeably.
Yes.
Right?
That's a totally different one.
Of both. I was just going to say, I have no problem with that answer. I mean, he's saying, you could argue what he has to say, but is also what's true. McCarthy has not played enough games, I think, to be given up on. Unfortunately for him, he's victim of the timing. I don't think the Vikings felt, after they didn't have a viable alternative a year ago when his floor ended up being lower than they expected, that they could afford to gamble on another whole season with the infrastructure in place, with owners who say they're patient, but also one of them said, I think it was Mark Wilf, our patience isn't endless.
Not infinite.
Not infinite, you're right, I think is the word. And that was not very salady. That was pretty direct. Saying, all right, well, the clock ticks on everybody, even the people that we like. So I think that's part of what has hurt JJ's chances to play through it, to say, where are we going? They can't say, we don't really care where we're going again this year. They got to think they might have a chance to go someplace. So under that equation, there was no way that McCarthy could start. Now, that's very different than saying he won't play. Because if he does hold up as the number 2, and, the first guy, if Kyler gets hurt, he's going to have a chance. And what happens sometimes when a guy gets another chance? They play well.
They make the most of it.
And then they create another sort of quarterback controversy, which would be, in some ways, the best thing that could happen to the Minnesota Vikings.
Do you want to go to 27 and play a few more?
Yeah, why not? Because we're guest-free the rest of the way. Let's do that.
Here's kind of the question of, okay, so what did Kyler do to earn this job? This was late in the press conference where someone finally kind of got to it and go, okay, well, what did he do to earn this, Kevin?
There's moments in time where there's comfort from Kyler in the scheme. He had some really high completion days where he was able to show some really, really good understanding of just putting the ball in play, playing with great timing, rhythm. You guys have seen him be explosive when there's opportunities there, but you've also seen him check the ball down and put the ball in play and get us from a 1st and 10 to a 2nd and 3. And then, as you continue to look at the body of work through those 10 days, what jumped out is what could be. And at some point in this thing, knowing the timeline we had and knowing that we needed to do some sort of a projection based upon a lot of those things, and then as the installs piled up and you'd see a little bit of a slowdown from a processing standpoint, it would then maybe the next day there was an immediate response, and just some of those things bode really, really well for his role now as we lock in on this thing and try to do the best we can to prepare him, as well as the one-on-one that can take place with me and him, as well as doing things that he's comfortable with within the confines of how we want to be with our philosophy on offense.
Excuse me, I'm trying to defend the honor of our last guest.
Oh, the chief?
Real quickly here. By the way, who in a period of, how do you spell listening?
L-I-S-T-E-N.
What are you listening to?
I-N-G.
Among the texts we received on him, one guy thinks he's a far left commie. Another guy said he thought he was listening to Fox News. Same guy. Speaking, the chief. How good is that? It's as good as it gets. I Where were we on KOC?
That was just more on Kyler, on what he did, how he earned the job.
Yeah. Well,
all of
again,
those things.
I think regardless of what he says and how he says it, he earned the job because he's not J.J. McCarthy, first and foremost, right? I mean, short of falling on his face, the Vikings, and I don't even blame them for this, had no choice but to make him, I think, the starter, right? Once you make the move on him, and once you are, again, in the position where you really can't risk, I think you can honestly believe that in 5 years, J.J. McCarthy will be a legitimate NFL quarterback.
I do still believe that.
And still think that, but we can't afford to try to find that out yet this season. We got to get some equity back. And that's unfortunate in a way, because what's the worst case? What's the nightmare? The new guy is, Kyler is up, he's down, he's okay.
Right, we finished 10-7.
We finished 10-7 or even 9-8. And we don't really win a playoff game, and maybe we don't even make the playoffs at 9-8. And then at the end of the year, you're going to let him go, probably. And then you're not going to know any more probably about JJ than you did before. And so you're right back on that treadmill. That's the worst case. But I think it's playing out the way it has to. You bring him in. Let's see. Let's see what he can do, because now it's his job. Now he's going to get most of the reps. Everything is going to be tailored for him, as it should be.
Yes, it should be.
And that's from somebody who did not endorse the move and is squeamish about this whole situation and has been from the beginning. But in fairness, you have to let the thing play out at this point.
Here is, we've gotten a lot of talkbacks today, as you can imagine. The iHeartRadio app, KFAN channel, got 30 seconds if you hit the microphone icon. Here's a talkback whose glass is half full.
Dan, Gaardsy, what's up? Kyle from Isani. It seems like every Vikings fan's got a vendetta against any quarterback we have until they win a couple games. But KOC knows how to work with veterans. Look what he did with Sam Darnold. The guy didn't really do nothing until he came here, and then he went on to win a Super Bowl. Kyler Murray's proved himself to be a top 10 quarterback. Not the last couple years. Arizona's been a dumpster fire, but coming here, he's got to pass the rock to his playmakers. JJ can sit back and learn.
Well, here's where he's got a point. The truth is, KOC has not proven he's the quarterback whisperer with a good, young, hot prospect. But he has proven adept at working with veteran quarterbacks. And that certainly defines Kyler Murray, right? I mean, Darnold was a project, was rejected elsewhere. Now, you could say, as he has said, he got righted in San Francisco. That started the trend. But in fairness to KOC, he built on that and had his first breakout season here. He's followed that up with doing even more. Didn't happen here. Let's remember that. It happened someplace else. So maybe this is the best shot for KOC, is that when he's working with this kind of guy who, has been around a little bit and presumably at least knows the basics of the mechanics. Because we're back to, there's a reason that McCarthy spent much of the offseason going to bleeping quarterback camp in California, where they stripped him down, the old thing, we got to get back to the fundamentals, we got to figure out where your fundamentals are flawed, right? That's kind of scary, but that shows kind of where he is. Now, Kyler, at least in the fundamentals, is supposed to be well past that, correct?
Supposed to be.
In his eighth year.
Alec Lewis will join tomorrow from the perch. He tweeted out 23 minutes ago, Vikings practice just ended. Thought Kyler Murray looked sharp today. Multiple corner routes to the right sideline. Believe Carson Wentz took more reps today than he has all camp too.
Oh. So is that hint that by the end of camp, C. Wentz could move up to number 2?
I don't know. Are we building that momentum now?
If you drop McCarthy to 3... then it's over here, isn't it, Johnny? Pretty much.
I mean, probably.
3?
Yeah, probably.
Third string? Highly tooted? Come on, man. Then I probably would trade him. Or I would say he's going to demand to be traded at that point, even if you only get like 25 cents on the buck, on the dollar.
Oh, man.
Look, San Francisco. Who was the guy they drafted and loved? Local Midwestern kid.
Trey Lance.
What'd they get for him? A bucket of balls?
Something like that.
I mean, that's basically what it was.
Kyler Murray, by the way, did meet the media after practice. I don't have the sound, but a Ben Gessling tweet, the quote is, "I didn't expect to be handed the job or anything like that. I just expected to come in here and compete. I'm very appreciative of how it was handled," end quote. Both quarterbacks.
Did he commit to studying hard?
I don't know off of that tweet. All the quarterbacks are expected to play this Saturday when the Vikings hit the road for preseason game number 1 against the New York Football Giants, a noon kickoff right here on the Fan. KOC did say everybody's going to play some. So we'll see Kyler and we'll see JJ.
Speaking of quarterbacks getting way too much attention for having done nothing thus far, who's the Giants guy? Is it Dart?
Yeah, Jackson Dart.
Doesn't he have to do a little? I mean, he's everywhere in the tabloids.
I know.
He's constantly getting attention, and maybe he's going to end up being great. Yeah. But he hasn't done anything yet.
That's the New York Football Giants.
Yeah,
that's the NFL.
I guess that's part of it.
Well, that's why you remember when he had the meat grinder of speaking at the Trump thing, and one of his teammates was mad about that, and they had to handle that whole Trump brush fire like you have to. My whole thing with that was, what has Jackson Dart done to earn that? Kind of to your point, to introduce the sitting president. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like you should, like, that shouldn't be an honor bestowed upon you when you haven't done anything.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Whatever you think about the president, I'll do all the disclaimers, whoever it is. Like, I felt like Jackson Dart, that's the best we could do. Like, it just doesn't seem like he was worthy of that honor.
It feels like ancient history now, and compared to what has followed, it feels like double-A ball when it comes to controversies. But wasn't there an event that Tice was involved in introducing, was it W?
Down in Mankato, yeah.
In Mankato?
PA had a role in that, too.
And PA, there was some weird thing that happened where in the exchange or shake, PA ended up like with blood on his face because there was like a needle or something. What was it that happened? I thought it was
a bird hit him in the face.
A bird?
I thought it was a bird.
Oh, I thought it was like some like metal or some something that.
No,
but there's a famous photo we used to have up where
used to be right here
he's
in the
looking at his either his hands or there's blood. And he's trying to figure out how he's got blood on him, and it was. Imagine how uncontroversial it would be, given what's happened since, that you're introducing W at an event. You can't even make it up.
You can't.
Such innocent times compared to where we are.
I do remember like that wall of fame that we had back here behind the old behind the Halvey room. And it was like pictures of like you and Ziggy and like Brian Oak and Sarah McLachlan. You know, we'd had the whole thing.
Yes.
And that's a throwback.
Yes.
And then
where do all those photos go?
I don't know, because there was one of PA, and the caption was like, PA wipes blood after being hit by a bird.
Oh, that was the caption?
It was something like that.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
It was there for decades.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's pretty good.
It was very funny. All right.
By the way, regarding McCarthy, I think you played this soundbite much earlier in the show, but not during this segment. KOC was emphatic that McCarthy is the backup. I would only say be careful assuming that. What he said was he is the backup. And he didn't even say now, but I took it as that's what he is right now. But I don't think Seifert was convinced that necessarily means that that's ironclad for the next month. I will be surprised if he doesn't start the season as the backup. But I don't know that just because he said today, and he had a compliment after that, because you played it much earlier, but he did say McCarthy is the backup quarterback, for the record.
All right,
for now.
We good with the Vikings? Let's move on.
Yeah, why not?
A lot today on QB1. The Minnesota Timberwolves learned today from the NBA that they will open the season on Wednesday, October 21st, on the road against Giannis and the Miami Heat. That is the season opener for the Wolves. They also learned they will not only get another Christmas Day game, they will host a Christmas Day game, a 7 o'clock tip. Radio station to
My sources, by the way, say you will be in the Lexus of Wayzata courtside seats for that game. That's what I'm hearing. That's the rumor.
If Charlie Swanson wants to bring me on Christmas, I'd be happy to go.
You won't say no?
I'm always happy to go with Charlie, and I'm guessing I'll be in town unless the Gophers are playing in like their second straight Rape Bowl, and we have to be in Phoenix.
I hadn't thought of that.
That'd be the one complication.
That's what's going to happen.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think I should sit courtside for a Thunder game. I think there'd be an incident. I think.
You would.
Depending
you
on
might actually tackle. You might actually tackle SGA, or what you would do is you would flop as he's going by. You would flop to the floor, to the ground.
Yes,
flail.
I know.
And then you would be removed by security. They'd have to remove you,
and I might not ever get to go again.
They might ban you.
That would be a problem. So that's embarrassing. At that point, by the way, I guess I'll be 44 years old still. I'll be a 44-year-old. So I don't know if I should go to that game in the courtside seats.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We still might go. My son wants to go.
Well, maybe if you dress as Santa or something. I could see you in a suit.
That'd be original.
You've dressed as Batman before. Why not Santa on Christmas Day?
That picture used to be right next to PA.
That's gone too?
No, I have that at my desk.
Oh, you have that one? Okay,
the
good.
RT Ryback picture. 7 o'clock tip. The Wolves get to host the Oklahoma City Thunder on Christmas night. Very cool.
Yeah, and not our first Christmas game, but obviously our first home game.
Yeah.
So it is like a step up because usually, you can have a Christmas game. You're cute. You turned into a nice franchise, but you'll be on the road.
Yeah.
You'll be at somebody else's house. I said earlier, I just love that we're not playing Denver. I get it. It's a nice rivalry. We own them, but I don't want us only to be associated with that. I loved that the NBA got a little bit more creative than that and say, let's give them a different opponent.
Agree.
Maybe a harder opponent, but a different game. I love that it's OKC.
I do too, even though I probably shouldn't go.
And for their second most highly paid player, I assume,
Chet
to SGA.
Yep.
It's homecoming for him too, right?
I suppose, yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
What is that supposed to mean?
He doesn't quite get the same welcome as Paige Beckers does.
No, I saw that.
When he comes home.
I think she unfurled a new court in Hopkins. Didn't she? Basketball court?
Yeah, she did. I think it was St. Louis Park.
Was St. Louis Park? Okay.
Where she grew up. She does a lot of that stuff, just kind of like sneaky under the radar. It's cool.
Dan, here's maybe this is the shirt. Kyler with the keys, JJ blue cheese, Wentz ready to seize, Wolves in 5. By the way, Roquefort is a fancy name for blue cheese.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or variations of blue cheese dressing.
Are you a blue cheese guy?
I am not. I hate it.
I try to avoid it.
I can't stand anything blue cheese related.
We are in alignment there.
Yeah.
I can do it in moderation if I have to, and it's already part of a salad, but it is not my favorite. It is definitely not my favorite.
All right, bottom of the hour.
We're there.
We'll wrap things up for this half hour. We got a lot more to get to. Keep your reaction coming on the big quarterback news. I got a couple of texts to explore, a couple of other controversies to attempt to discuss as well, A section and toy department. So it'll be a very, I think, varied and a versatile program in our final hour today.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrera.
Next year, we already know what's going to happen. Baker's coming here. He's going to sign like a 3-year deal. He's going to get paid. McCarthy's going to sit behind Baker, learn, and by the time he's 26, he's going to be ready to take the reins, be our QB for the next 10 years, 2 to 3 Super Bowl championships. Let's go.
Kyler's got the ball, JJ's in the hall, and Wentz is at the mall. Wolves in 5.
If Vikings fans knew that it's just going to be a slow cook on JJ, and they could count on the fact that it's going to be slower than usual, but he's going to get there, that would take a lot of the heat off. The problem is you can't count on it. You don't know it until it happens, right?
Yeah.
But people would be fine with that. It's okay. Different approach. Took them a little longer to figure some stuff out, the nuance of it. So there you have it.
I'm never going to get sick of the Wolves in 5 bit, by the way.
I'm not either.
Because the Rubes are so funny with it.
Yeah, they handle it. They take it in directions I'm not even necessarily prepared for. Brandon from Becker, the youths of Tough Guy Town St. Michael have taken to the streets on their expensive bikes. Their parents bought them and were driving in the middle of the street. What better time than rush hour to be doing that? Props to the 15 out of 40 or 50 who were still riding on the sidewalk. Dan, Roquefort is a province in France. If you hear Roquefort dressing, it means the cheese comes specifically from that area. No other blue cheese dressing can call itself that.
Oh, wow. Fancy.
Very fancy. Now, Andy Luger's claiming that, hold on, see if I can get the exact. Russian dressing is Thousand Island dressing, just a fancy name. I don't think that's true. I think I taste a difference between what might be once upon a time classified as Russian dressing and Thousand Island. I think Russian is redder than Thousand Island, in my experience.
Well, you go up against Andy Luger at your own peril.
Yeah, I very much.
I'm not ready for that smoke.
There's no.
I took
no
enough with the Max Brosmer stuff.
Regarding what was the name of the cameras we were talking about with the chief?
Is it Flock?
Flock. Very good. Thank you. To revisit our discussion between 4:30 and 5.
Got some great talkbacks with reaction to that.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, we won't be playing those.
So, again, it's fascinating because all of the concerns that some of the texters in extremely aggressive, angry fashion have passed along to me were discussed and raised. And what's ironic is one of the texters brought up the ice part of it. Was he not listening to the chief bringing that up first? Again, I love you all. I love all of our listeners. But because John Oliver had a piece on this and showed how those cameras can be exploited, that's not the last word for me. It is a word for me. It should be part of the discussion. But it doesn't end it for me because I'll go out, I'll just flat out say it. I was accused earlier in the show via text of being Bill Maher to the nth degree. I plead guilty. I raise my hand to the affirmative. I don't trust John Oliver to explore all aspects of a story like that the way Maher would. Oliver comes to it with a position, a sensibility, that he's going to find the stuff, in some cases legitimate stuff, that fits that. If there's stuff that doesn't, he's not going to explore it. And that just doesn't work for me. Sorry. Everybody gets to make their decision on who they trust more than others. And nobody has the last word on any of this stuff. But a lot of what we raised a lot of the concerns. However, as we got into with the drones, you have to also understand what no one's asking us to become a dictatorship here. But you also have to learn potentially what you lose. Regulation's important. Vigilance is important. But there is the inability to accept that there may be costs associated with the earnest, perhaps, decision to move away and to say those assets are too dangerous to use. Then just let's have the discussion so you know what you might be losing in that discussion. And again, that should be part of the conversation that we have. But it's very difficult, I think, for some people who get dug in to indeed have it. But imagine again, what's the word? Gobsmackness to learn that we've got, during the same interview, people who came away from the chief thinking he's a commie and others thinking he should be working for Fox News. Maybe that means he's doing his job too, in a way that he's frustrating pretty much everybody. I pointed out to one of those that nobody has, among other, crackpot righties, nobody has more respect for the chief than Andy Luger, who joins us occasionally. But it's an education sometimes to get sort of for it to run the gamut the way it tends to. There is nothing in the Chiefs' discourse over the last 3 or 4 months, nothing that has been in the least soft on his reaction to ICE attempting to take over and invade this community. But we live in that world where if that's his position there, then there's 5 other boxes that he is obligated to check. And if he doesn't check them, then whatever he said on that subject isn't going to matter to people. I'm not interested in talking to those people. I like the Luger term that he introduced to us last week. We've talked about being centrist on this show for a long time. He calls himself an angry centrist, which I kind of like.
Pretty good description.
Be a pretty good description as well, right across the table. 612 guy Tony writes, Luger is as wrong about dressing as he is music. Tell him do better.
Do better, Luga.
Do better, Luga. Russian dressing is very similar to French dressing. I think that's true. I think it's closer to French dressing than it is Thousand Island. But indeed, it's very interesting for that. And again, we get the way the game is played. The game is, you must be pro-surveillance state. So when you use that term,
pretty loaded.
There's nowhere to go. Right? There's no chance to have a reasonable conversation with that individual about what that really means. Folks who use that term, some of them do it particularly to shut down any nuance, any dissent, any discussion in the devil and being in the details. And what do you mean by that? Where is it dangerous? Where must we protect against it? Where is it a little more complicated in a practical sense? In that world, there is no room for that. Because they know with a term like that, all debate and discussion in that person's world is shut down. Not interested in playing that game. Doesn't do any. It just doesn't really going to do much to it. 612 guy writes, when are you ever going to have a lefty on? Now, that's also ironic.
That's good.
Because usually it's the other way. Don't we usually get, when are you going to have a righty on?
Yeah, I'm hoping that guy's sarcastic.
And by the way, Birthday Boy's on tomorrow. Kessler's on at 5:30 tomorrow.
From the perch.
Every week. Pelosi Pat. Although that might have been his ironic. That might be his sense of irony, too. We got to get caught up, right? Because we went long on a very good top 5 at 5 where we tried to be as complete as possible regarding the Vikings quarterback saga. I've got a couple of other items to mention that might get everybody annoyed. Stay tuned for that next.
This is why, during football season, you have got to listen live.
The Vikings have named Kyler Murray their starting quarterback.
Minnesota.
U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy.
What was he known for?
He's the guy who basically saved RFK Jr. getting approved, right?
Okay.
And it is amazing how he convinced himself that he should do it when you juxtapose it with what he's now saying. In the wake of the latest executive order, well, as of yesterday it was, might be another one today, from the president, that we're going to break up the MMR vaccine because it's too much fluid too soon, even though there's absolutely no evidence of that being the case. Here's what, still, U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy, his response to it was, I'm a doctor. This executive order is wrong. The president does not have the expertise to make these changes. Vaccines are overwhelmingly safe. Vaccines are effective. Vaccines do not cause autism. Breaking up vaccines will mean children have to get more shots to get the same protection, not fewer shots. It will increase hesitancy and make children less safe. Parents should listen to their child's pediatrician about vaccines rather than listening to an inaccurate executive order. This is so wrong. How disingenuous is this? How convenient is it? You had the power to block this goofball who is putting these ideas in the head of the President of the United States in the first place. So the chickens have come home to roost. That's why it's hard to listen to him, even if he happens to be right at this particular moment. Apropos of nothing, I mean, this isn't necessarily related to that subject. This could be maybe an impromptu news on the march segment. Although this comes once again from the toy department. Did you see the latest essay via The Athletic about the ongoing WNBA drama? An attempt to sort of put it in perspective.
Right. I've seen the headline. I haven't read it yet.
It's Candace Buckner, I think, is the name of the writer.
Okay.
And she's laying out the Carrington thing, the white privilege stuff, which she is critical of, etc. Here's the section that got my attention. Where can I? Let me scroll down and let me find the exact place. No, that's not the right story. Where's the Candace? That's Twins related. Here we go. Yeah, this is under the WNBA has all of our attention, but now I just want to look away. The League of Powerful Women, Caitlin Clark exploring the boundaries of the game like an abstract painter, Olivia Miles personifying the rebirth of slick, Brianna Stewart pulling out new tricks from her offensive arsenal, Asia Wilson shape-shifting nightly into a goat, feels less like a sport and more like a societal powder keg. Now, it's well written. I agree with a lot that is indeed in there. But here's the key issue for me, where I think she kind of misses the point, or she straw mans it just a little bit for me. Because Cunningham plays in a league boosted by the LGBTQIA plus community, her opinion against the involvement of transgender athletes in women's sports has sparked irony and amusement among those seeking to ignite this culture war. Let me gently suggest to her that she needs to change the focus. Let's not worry. I mean, if you phrase it that way, it's almost like you're saying, well, people are going to manipulate. Irrational people who just want the culture war are going to manipulate what you're saying. How about the possibility that even if you are an angry centrist, even if you are not interested in necessarily igniting the cultural war, you too might find it a bit ironic and worthy of amusement that a league that goes out of its way to be open-minded and prides itself on being open-minded seems to have so much difficulty with Sophie Cunningham taking the position that she has. Forget the fringes. When you phrase it in terms of the fringes, you make it sound as if, in effect, I think, that only the fringes could possibly be bothered by any of the inconsistencies that this story reveals. Let's remember something. She lays it out earlier in the piece. 80% of Americans agree with her position when it comes to athletic participation. Now, we can get into the weeds about at what level. You talking about grade school? You talking about after puberty? You talking about high school? You talking about college? You talking about the Olympics, whatever the case may be? That's fine. We can have those discussions. But this notion that there is something, the Cunningham position only seems radical because people have been afraid to say it. Too many people in mainstream have been afraid to say it out loud. And, of course, the immediate comeback is, how many people is this really involved? 12? 4? Well, that, too, is also a little disingenuous because it doesn't attack the actual question of fairness because it's coming. It's coming more often. Read the internet. News stories. California, it's reached a point where basically the transgender female and the other born female ends up sharing the first place stand in, for example, track and field. It's happening.
They'll stand next to each other. It
doesn't matter if it's happening every day or not. It's happening. There's a reason that decision was come to. Now, I don't think anybody's happy with it on either side of it, quite frankly. I don't even know if it's a good solution. But that's still my problem with the way a lot of the WNBA protectors and observers write about this stuff, that they tend to get trapped by the extremes, as opposed to, you don't have to be a member of the extreme or the lunatic fringe to be concerned with how this is being computed, how this has been translated to the masses. I mean, Lynx fans have a right to boo whoever they want to boo. But remember, they booed an individual who was stating a position that 8 out of 10 Americans agree with regarding that issue. Now, again, the fine print is worthy of discussion. We've tried to do that over the last couple years, certainly. But that's the tricky part to me, when it's real easy, I think, to get high and mighty about this when you are only attacking the two lunatic, far right, far left sides of this equation. But I don't think you have to be in that camp. I think you can be a centrist and say that, well, I know this doesn't really, I mean, as Chris Brennan just did a CNN interview, which she said, hey, by the way, we're going to have a break in the action for some international stuff soon, right? In which the U.S. is going to play by international rules that have hard rules in place about participation. Now, again, right now, it's not germane to the WNBA, right? As far as we know. And the stupidity of the trolling attempt of your guy, Royce White, and it was a Cantor.
It's Cantor.
It's just yep. That's a waste of everybody's time because it's not a serious attempt to discuss any of this. But the fact of the matter is, those are the rules that the WNBA players are going to be playing by. Now, you can still disagree with them, but the notion that there's something pernicious and radical about what is being suggested here, and like you're the only people interested in this are trying to ignite this cultural war. No, there's some people who might just want to say, well, let's get to the brass tacks of the fairness question. That's all. I don't think there's anything particularly radical about that at all. 64686, that's the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line as well. Let's see. Let me get to... I can't watch WNBA, go for women's basketball. No, that's basketball. We'll watch and listen all day. Keep political messaging out of sports, please. Well, again, that's part of what's interesting about this piece in The Athletic. There's now this sort of weariness about why Sophie, she doesn't have to apologize for it, but why it's necessary for her to weigh in on this. And, man, this is part of why it all gets weighted down. But I've said this before, I'll say it again. If the only time you feel that weariness is if it's somebody who takes a position you disagree with, then you're not being consistent. Because people who are against some of the other political messaging in this sport, could have said the same thing for years. Say, oh, God, here we go again. I just want to pay attention to the sports. And what's the comeback? These issues are important to people. And I have defended that. So be careful about the weariness thing, unless you're consistent with it, whether you happen to agree with the position being taken or disagree with it as well. Top of the hour break. Maybe a couple more Vikings quarterback talkbacks, a couple more nuggets there. Did I tease anything else I haven't paid? Oh, here's a tease for you. Does your guy, Tom Pohlad, deserve a little extra kudo? Is that the word? Kudos is plural. Can you have one kudo, like one compliment?
I think you can give him a kudo.
Is he due a kudo? Kind of a sneaky hidden one? Or is this under the classification of kind of like a trophy for kind of sort of participating? We'll explain when we come back.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero on The Fan.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY.
Is this worthy of a commemorative print, or is this just me falling into the same trap I savage others like you for falling into far too often? Let me just read it. Via The Athletic. It's a double byline piece. Dan Hayes, one of the writers. Even after the Toronto Blue Jays acquired Jose Soriano, arguably the top controllable pitcher moved at the trade deadline, teams that had lost out to Toronto in trade talks with the Los Angeles Angels continued to try to acquire the right-hander. Multiple clubs reached out to the Angels in the days before the deadline with interest in acquiring Soriano, Reed Detmers, and Zach Neto. After the Jays finalized their deal for Soriano, sending a 3-prospect package to the Angels built around Arjun Nimala, the Minnesota Twins and Chicago Cubs were among the teams that then also reached out to Toronto to see if the Jays would be interested in moving Soriano again. League sources, granted anonymity because they weren't authorized to speak about deadline dealings, publicly said.
We're so back.
The Jays listened. The Jays weren't actively shopping Soriano after acquiring him, one source said, but they did consider offers. Already talking with Toronto about Jeff Hoffman, the Twins discussed a Soriano package built around the organization's number 3 prospect, infielder Kalen Culpepper.
Wow, who's here?
And other pieces. Hit a home run in his first game. The teams were clearly unable to line up when one source said Toronto made it clear the only way they would even consider listing further is if the Twins included top pitching prospect Riley Quick as the second piece in a multi-player package. Minnesota promoted Culpepper to its MLB roster Friday, and he homered in his debut. It's unclear whether Culpepper would have fit with Toronto, but was part of the conversation. Pursuing Soriano is in line with how the Twins approached the deadline a year after they traded away 10 players, including multiple talented relievers.
Is that all?
Under team control and shortstop Carlos Correa. The Twins reversed course this deadline. This is a build and they will come situation, Pohlad said in July. The fans are not going to come back based on words. So am I falling into the trap? Or here's why I trust it a little bit more. I mean, we've kidded Lavel about how we were second in line for
Yu Darvish.
That goes back how many? Oldie but a goodie.
About a decade.
And in the end, they didn't get him. And is it possible, too, this is a planted story to make them look more aggressive, even though they didn't get the player? Maybe, but the fact that there's another national writer in, and it's Dan Hayes, as a combo, makes me think there's some legs to the aggressiveness. And I would just say this. I don't know that we have another example of the Twins even attempting to go this far to try to do something that would be probably unprecedented in their recent history. So I'm willing to give them a little more credit, but I'm worried that I might be softening up. I don't know. But I'm just responding to the reporting that seems to be very thorough in this particular story. That it seems to go beyond like, well, they're in it right to the end.
Right. Well, maybe you're coming around on my guy TP.
It's possible.
That's what I call him. Good vibe.
It's
Here's
possible.
the other reason, because I immediately thought the same thing. Okay, this is a planted story. It's easy to say in hindsight that, oh, yeah, we were in. And even though that guy was traded, we never gave up. We were still looking to flex our muscle and get in there. When it gets that specific that they name a guy that's now on the Major League roster that's going to play, like you see how these guys, I mean, Julius Randle went in the tank for 6 months because he was in the Giannis trade rumors, right? Or Kevin Durant or whoever it was.
Yes.
The fact that it's a specific player and a highly touted prospect that's named, that's not a story you just leak out. Like that, I don't think.
No.
That's not a story just to make yourselves look better because of the ramifications that could potentially be. Now, again, Culpepper's owed nothing, right? In real life,
correct.
People go, well, buck up, do better, Charlotte. But I think because it's that specific, I don't think you put that out there or let that get out there unless it did get pretty serious to that level. So I do give them credit for it.
I just thought it was interesting. I didn't see that one coming, but I did enjoy the reporting involved in it. And it's, I'm encouraged by it. I'm not ready to, give a statue to Tom Pohlad. We already have two Pohlads with statues. Carl and Eloise, right? Yep. They have their own.
They do.
I'm not ready to give Tom one yet, but I think it was worthy of a minute or two. I didn't lead the show with it. Might finish the show with it, but we didn't lead the show with it. 64686, that is the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Couple texts not even worth responding to. But I will offer you this. Does Luga like the song Statesboro Blues? Tomorrow, will Kessie try to smuggle in some booze? Could you walk 1/10 of a mile in Lavelle's shoes? Wolves and 5.
To the middle question, very possibly.
Oh, my God. That's too good.
Very possibly.
Very possibly. All right, let's do this. Let's wrap up the program, summarize what you might have missed from earlier today. How many guests do we have today?
2.
We had 2. We
Kevin
had Seifert
and
early,
Chief Anderson.
and we had Chief. We'll give you some highlights from the visits with each of them and prepare you for another day. The afternoon Aardvark returns to training camp. Good timing on tomorrow's show.
This
show wrap brought to you by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the bumper-to-bumper show wrap.
Dan rejects the voting sticker. J.J. McCarthy is getting bitter. KOC likes his dressing sweeter. Wolves and 5. Now, that's interesting. He didn't really rhyme it, but it has still a decent meter and rhythm to it.
He tried, yeah.
Is this breaking news true? Rod Stewart, State Fair show canceled?
Interesting. I hadn't seen that.
Huh.
Let's take a look.
Just saw a really good Rod Stewart, or part of a very good Rod Stewart interview with Dan Rather. That's what he's doing these days. He's constantly interviewing for Access TV.
That's right.
Rock and roll music greats.
Yeah, John Bream, who, by the way, offered himself up at the State Fair.
Oh,
like he did last year.
Yeah, we should do that.
I got to text him back. Rod Stewart has heart procedure, cancels Minnesota State Fair concert on September 1st.
Oh, man. I hope Luger's still listening, because I'm guessing he will disagree. I believe Rod Stewart has an album that is one of the 10 best popular music albums ever done. I believe it's called Every Picture Tells a Story. I don't think there's a bad cut on the album. It goes way, way back, obviously, to a long, long, long time ago. But that's too bad. That's an interesting booking in the first place, I thought, given his history. He's a heavyweight name.
Yeah.
It's what he is from back in the day.
He's canceled the next 4 weeks of performances.
Heart procedure?
On his farewell tour and Las Vegas residency. After undergoing a coronary stent procedure. This from Variety.
Well, I'm glad he got that taken care of. Those things can be very helpful, correct? Stephanie White. Moments ago, Fever head coach, pregame media session. Wonder what's happening. Looks like there's some bitterness. She's pounding the table.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you to Kevin Seifert. Good instant reaction to the news that Kyler Murray, she wrote a statement, read from it, stomped off, got up from the podium, mad as hell, not gonna take it anymore.
Wow.
Well, that should keep things on the action between the lines.
I was going to say, so the story's dying down.
Yeah, that's correct. There's no question about that. And look who's on camera right now. She is blaming Caitlin Clark for whatever Stephanie has been forced to say.
Here's quickly what she said. Part of it, the hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness, the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win. It won't win. We are united. We are connected. We will not be divided. Every day these women put their ass on the line. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
Okay.
That's from an ESPN reporter that tweeted it out, so I will say that's pretty reputable.
Fair enough. Also want to thank former St. Cloud Police Chief Blair Anderson, accused of being a communist and a far left-wing lunatic. No, that would be the left side. I should say a hardcore right-wing lunatic as well during the course of the same interview, which might be the sign that he's truly come of age after all of this time. He joined us between, was it 4:30?
Yes.
And 5 o'clock today. I was always lead with love. I always lead with grace, with humility, with integrity. There's a lot of high horsing going down here in the WNBA. I'll say it again. The league, is this a league that does not know, is not yet comfortable crossing over? It sounds like a broken record, but it keeps repeating itself. Hopefully it's a phase.
Growing
pains, you get past it, you move on with the rest of your life, or you go back to the bubble, and you go back to flying commercial, let Clark go, I don't know, to Europe somewhere? Not sure. It's a shame, because there's a lot of other really, really, really good, maybe it wouldn't matter at this point, because there's a lot of really good basketball.
The ball is good.
There's no doubt about that. Tomorrow we're back. Timing is good with the quarterback announcement today. We're back at TCO Performance Center on tomorrow's broadcast. And we expect a visit with Alec Lewis there.
Yes.
We're working on one, maybe two Vikings-related guests as well.
I have asked for the bagman.
I did too. Via Chad Abbott. He said he was going to do some inciting on his end.
Okay.
But then I said, we'll also certainly take a player.
Oh, yeah. The bagman to me is separate, because that should be after with Kessler, too.
Yeah, that's it should definitely be with Kessler.
Yes.
Who apparently is celebrating his 90th birthday today.
He's already 90.
Pat
wow.
Kessler.
Man, I remember when he was 87.
Years old today. And maybe the Vikings will bring a cake out to him belatedly tomorrow when he joins us.
Well, he'll pout if he doesn't.
I thought Lori Fisher was going to join from there, too.
Oh, yeah, we did say
But I don't think she can get a credential.
I was texting with her today, and she had to remind me that it was Twins Tuesday. Like, we're happy for Twins Tuesday. Like, no one cares about Twins Tuesday.
Did you? I think she's probably mad at us because neither of us responded
about her Halloween costume.
About her Halloween costume.
I mean, does she even know us at all?
By now, you'd think she would. That if she sends a text in mid-August
on like a Saturday night,
at 11 p.m., that we're going to respond about. I wonder what the costume could be. Can't wait. Very exciting.
Tell us about it.
Halloween's still October 31st, isn't it?
The date of Halloween is irrelevant.
Yeah,
you and I are not dressing up in a Halloween costume.
No.
It could be tomorrow.
That's true, too.
We're not wearing enough set Halloween
I don't even
costume.
think she doesn't really care about what we dress up as anyway. It's what she can dress up as.
It's all about her.
That's what this is all about, right?
She's not even on the show this week or next week.
Yeah.
That's the thing. She makes all these plans for us, and she's not even
you're right.
there.
She's out now.
The next 2 weeks.
Until
the State Fair.
So we won't see her to the Great Minnesota Get-Together.
Correct.
And the show won't be live.
Not at
shows.
the fair.
The fair will be
We'll
taping
tape it at 12:30.
Live taping is what they call it in the business.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
A look live.
Look forward. Is that what they call it?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably true. Anything else? Is it true that the Powerball is worth like $1 billion?
Yes, as long as nobody's won it, yeah.
And when's the next drawing? Is it tomorrow?
Wednesday's usually Powerball, yeah.
So there's still time to get in on the fun?
Get in.
Isn't it like 980 million?
Yeah, I think that's right. Mega Millions was just like 700, 800 too. Somebody wanted a couple of weeks ago.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, man, I'm trying.
What's the one if you take the lump sum? I think it's like 450.
Yeah, after taxes and everything.
That's not bad.
No, you could work on it.
Would you keep working or would you retire?
Some of the jobs I'd keep doing.
Not all, but some.
Some of them.
Fan and the Man in the Air. We'll talk to you from the Vikings facility, TCO, tomorrow at 3.